All right, let's dive in. We're looking at ESG scores today.
ESG scores.
Yeah, those ratings that are supposed to tell us like how sustainable companies really are.
Right.
But you sent over this research paper,
Yeah.
and it's got me thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's called The Influence of Firm Size on the ESG Score.
Okay.
And it was published in the Journal of Business Ethics back in 2020.
2020. Okay.
So basically what we're trying to figure out is, does a company's size actually influence their ESG scores? Because if it does,
If it does,
well, that's a big deal, right?
it's huge.
For investors, I mean, for anyone who's like,
Trying to make ethical decisions.
yeah, put their money where their morals are.
Exactly. Yeah, because we sort of assume, don't we,
Uh-huh.
that a high score means a company's doing good things.
Right, right.
More sustainable.
Automatically, yeah.
But this research is kind of challenging that assumption.
It is. It's fascinating.
It is, yeah.
So before we really get into the weeds here, can you just give us a quick explanation of what ESG scores are?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's one of those things that
It's a buzzword. Yet
everyone's talking about, but not everyone.
not everyone really understands.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so basically think of ESG scores as like
Okay.
a report card for companies
Okay.
on how they're treating the planet, how they're treating their workers,
Uh-huh.
and, how well they're managed from a kind of ethical standpoint.
So it's really looking at their impact
Impact, exactly.
on everything around them.
Yeah, on the world around them.
And investors are using these scores.
More and more
Yeah.
to decide where to put their money.
Right. To support the good guys.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes total sense. But
Yeah.
how does company size fit into all this? What did the researchers actually find?
So they started by looking at
Okay.
the scores of different companies
Uh-huh.
in different sectors, right?
Yeah.
And what they found was that industries, like, the ones that,
Well, ones that people kind of raise an eyebrow at.
yeah, like tobacco,
Uh-huh.
alcohol,
Okay.
gambling,
Right.
actually had higher ESG scores
Really?
than a lot of other companies.
That's so interesting because those are usually the companies that ethical investors are like,
Trying to stay away from.
yeah, stay away from, avoid.
Okay.
That's really surprising.
Yeah, and it really got them thinking.
Yeah.
Because, see, the thing is,
Right.
the industries weren't arranged by their scores in this study.
Oh, interesting.
They were ordered by their size,
Company size.
company size.
Okay.
So that kind of raised the question, right?
Yeah.
Like, are these bigger companies
Yeah.
actually more ethical?
Yeah, or are they just
Or are they just better at reporting?
better at filling out the forms?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe it's not that they're actually doing more.
Right.
Maybe they're just better at telling everyone they're doing more.
Oh, that's a good point. Right.
So are they really more ethical, or are they just like,
Just better at the paperwork?
yeah, better at
Yeah.
taking the test,
Yeah.
but not actually like implementing it in real life?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
you can be great at taking tests,
Uh-huh.
but not necessarily good at applying what you've learned.
Totally.
So that's basically what they thought was going on.
Okay.
They hypothesized that larger companies
Right.
have more resources,
Yeah.
more money, more staff, more everything.
They can throw at this
Exactly, to dedicate to ESG reporting.
to just focus on this.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
right.
But how did they, prove this? Did they just go around asking companies, hey, are you good at reporting?
Oh, no.
Like, what did they actually do?
They did a lot more than that.
Okay.
They analyzed a huge database
Wow.
called ASSET4. It's put together by Thomson Reuters,
Okay.
and it covers thousands of companies.
Wow, that's huge.
Over several years. So they're looking at
A lot of data.
big picture stuff.
Big picture, yeah. And they use some pretty advanced statistical techniques to see how all these things connect.
Oh, good.
Company size, resources,
Uh-huh.
ESG scores.
Right. So they're looking for the connections there
Exactly.
to prove or disprove that initial
That hunch.
yeah, that hunch.
Exactly.
Okay. So what did they find?
Well, they found that on average, the larger companies
Mhm.
did have more resources dedicated to ESG reporting,
Okay.
and that led to more data being available.
More data. Okay.
And as you might guess,
Yeah.
more data,
More data, higher score.
higher score.
Even if the practices aren't that different
Potentially, yeah.
from the little guys.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so it really does seem like the bigger companies get
A bit of a bonus.
a bonus just for being big,
Yeah, for being able to report more.
even if what they're actually doing isn't that different.
Yeah.
Okay, but they didn't stop there, right?
No, they didn't stop there.
Because they wanted to see if those higher scores
Right.
actually meant that the bigger companies were doing more.
Yeah, they wanted to see if it actually translated into real-world impact.
Yeah. Are they actually,
Walking the walk.
walking the walk
Yeah.
instead of just talking the talk?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So to figure that out,
Yeah.
they focused on something pretty specific.
Okay, what was it?
Greenhouse gas emissions
Okay.
as a way to measure
Environmental impact.
environmental impact, exactly.
Okay.
Because that's something you can measure. You
Mhm.
can track it.
It's pretty concrete.
It's concrete, yeah.
So were the companies with those really shiny ESG scores
Right.
actually producing fewer emissions?
Well, this is where things get really interesting
Okay.
and maybe a little bit concerning.
Uh-oh. What did they find?
So they found that the larger companies
Hmm.
didn't necessarily have better environmental performance,
Oh,
even with the higher scores.
even with the high scores.
It seems like sometimes it might actually be more beneficial for companies to invest in reporting
Oh,
than
well,
in action.
hold on. So you're telling me companies can get like high marks for sustainability without actually reducing their impact?
That seems to be the case, at least sometimes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a lot to unpack.
it is.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So what does this mean for investors? I mean,
Yeah.
if bigger companies are maybe kind of like gaming the system a little bit,
Yeah.
what can we do? What can I do with my money? I want to make sure it's
Yeah.
going to the right places.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to just take these scores at face value.
Okay.
Think of them more like a
Like a starting point.
starting point.
Okay.
Not the finish line.
Not the whole picture.
Exactly.
But how do we go beyond the scores? I mean, I don't have time to go like undercover
Right.
and investigate every business.
Yeah. No, you don't want to go
Yeah.
full-on detective,
Okay.
but you can do some digging.
Okay.
A good place to start is
Okay.
by looking at the company's
Uh.
own sustainability reports.
Okay, so they put these out themselves.
A lot of companies do, yeah.
And it's more detailed information
Detailed, yeah.
than just the score.
Exactly, about their
Yeah.
environmental and social practices.
Okay, so go straight to the source.
Straight to the source.
Don't just rely on that one little number.
Exactly.
And when we're reading those reports,
Yeah.
what should we be looking for?
Don't just, skim the highlights.
Yeah.
Look for
Mhm.
concrete details,
Mhm. Okay.
measurable targets, real examples.
So evidence, not just what.
Yeah, not just empty promises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's also a good idea to see what other people are saying
Okay.
about the company.
So look for like news articles.
News articles, yeah, reports from watchdog groups,
Mhm.
even,
Okay.
reviews from employees.
Oh, interesting.
Are there any red flags,
Yeah. So check their reputation.
Yeah, check their reputation.
See if their actions actually match
It's
their
ju-
words.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, transparency is great,
Uh-huh.
but it's not a guarantee.
Right. Right.
Just because a company is reporting on their sustainability
Yeah.
doesn't automatically mean they're actually doing the work.
Sure, yeah.
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 It seems like if company size
Yeah.
can affect ESG scores,
Right.
what else might be skewing the ratings?
That's a great question because there
Yeah.
not one
Okay.
single universally accepted
Okay.
way to measure a company's performance.
So there's a lot of room for
Yeah.
interpretation.
A lot of room for interpretation.
Okay.
And different rating agencies use different methods.
Oh. Okay. So they could come up with different scores.
You come up with very different scores for the same
It's
company.
for the same company. Yeah, it can be
That's a lot.
it can be a bit of a Wild West out there.
Yeah, so then how do we even begin to make sense of it all?
Right.
Because the scores are
Well,
useful
Right.
if we
They are a useful tool.
Yeah, if we can trust them.
Exactly. If you can trust
But how do we know which ones to trust?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
I think what we need is more transparency
Okay.
and more consistency
Okay.
in the world of ESG ratings.
So it sounds like it's really up to us as investors to
Yeah,
keep pushing for that.
I think investors have a lot of power here
Okay.
by demanding more transparency, more rigor
Uh,
from these rating agencies.
we can actually make a
We
change.
can make a change. We can help improve the system.
Okay, so it's almost like we need
Yeah.
a watchdog for the watchdogs.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
We need to be critical consumers
Yeah. Okay.
of these ratings.
And not just blindly
Right.
accept.
Push for continuous improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This paper is is really making me think about like the bigger picture too, you know?
Yeah.
Even if companies are being upfront about their practices, how much can we really learn about their sustainability
That's an important point.
just from like what they
Just from the publicly available data. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are limitations to that
Okay.
because companies are naturally going to want to present themselves
Uh-huh.
in the best possible light.
Right.
So they might be very selective about what they choose to disclose.
So it's almost like looking at a very carefully edited photo
Yeah.
on social media.
Exactly.
It looks perfect,
Yeah.
but
But it doesn't tell you the whole story.
it doesn't tell the whole story.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess that's where these rating agencies
That's where,
right?
yeah, they become even more crucial.
Okay.
They can't just
Yeah.
passively collect data.
Uh-huh.
They need to be actively engaging with companies.
So asking tough questions.
Asking tough questions, verifying the information they receive.
Okay, and also like
And
looking at other information.
looking at other sources of information.
Okay.
You know, like NGOs,
Okay.
industry watchdogs,
Uh-huh.
employee reviews
Okay.
to get a more complete picture.
So it's about getting that full 360
Yeah.
view, not just
Not just the polished version.
Yeah. But let's be real.
Yeah.
These rating agencies are businesses too.
They are business.
Do they really have
I do.
an incentive to
Yeah.
rock the boat
To call out. Yeah, that's a valid point.
especially if these companies are also their clients.
There's always a potential conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
You know, some agencies might be hesitant to give a low score to a
Yeah.
company that's paying them for their services.
Right.
So yeah, it's
tricky.
a tricky situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it sounds like investor pressure,
Investors
scrutiny.
scrutiny. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to make sure they're
Okay.
prioritizing transparency and independence
Above all else.
above all else.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, we're the ones relying on these ratings
Yeah.
to make informed decisions.
This has really been eye-opening, you know? It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. There's always more. Always more to uncover.
There is, yeah.
And we started out just talking about
Right.
company size and scores, and now we're talking about the whole
The whole
landscape of responsible
of
investing.
responsible investing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big topic.
And it's clear that
It's evolving.
it's evolving. There's still a lot of work to be done
There is, yeah.
to make it
Yeah, more transparent.
reliable, effective.
Yeah.
It seems like the more we learn about ESG,
The more questions we have.
the more questions.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm also kind of feeling empowered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can actually make a difference here
I think so.
by, demanding better information.
Yeah.
More accountability.
Absolutely.
So where do we go from here? What are some things that investors can actually do
Yeah.
to make sure their money's going to the right places?
One of the most important things is to be an active investor.
Okay.
Engaged.
So don't just be passive.
Don't be passive. No.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask companies tough questions
Okay.
about their ESG practices, especially if something seems off.
Especially if it doesn't match up with
Yeah, if it doesn't match up with what you're seeing.
they're reporting. So we shouldn't just take their word for it.
No.
We should actually,
Dig deeper. Yeah.
hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
Okay. And what about those rating agencies we were talking about?
Yeah.
What can we do to make sure they're, providing accurate
for it.
and unbiased assessments?
I think keep the pressure,
Okay.
demand more transparency
Okay.
about how they're coming up with these scores,
Okay.
push for more consistency.
So that it's
Yeah.
apples to apples.
Yeah, apples to apples.
Okay. And support
And support organizations
organizations
that are actually working to improve those standards.
Okay.
Hold those rating agencies accountable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we kind of have to be advocates
I think
for change on multiple fronts here.
Yeah, on multiple fronts, yeah.
With companies, with the rating agencies,
With the rating agencies,
with our fellow investors.
with other investors, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think don't underestimate the power of your own investment choices.
Okay.
Support the companies that are actually
Walking the walk.
walking the walk, yeah.
Yeah.
And consider maybe divesting from companies that aren't doing what they should be doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been really insightful. I feel like we started with this research paper about
Right.
company size.
Yeah.
And now we've explored the whole
The whole world
world of responsible investing.
of ESG, yeah.
And it's clear that that this is...
It's still evolving.
It's still evolving. There's a lot of work to do.
There is, yeah.
To make it more...
To make it...
transparent, reliable, all those things.
Transparent, reliable, more effective.
Yeah. But I do feel optimistic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because it seems like more and more people are...
More and more investors are...
Right, demanding that...
Demanding change, yeah.
And companies are starting to see that.
Yeah. They're starting to realize that sustainability is not just like a nice to have.
Yeah.
It's essential for their...
For their future.
Yeah, for their long-term success.
So to all of our listeners out there...
Yeah.
Keep being curious, stay engaged.
Stay engaged, yeah.
And keep pushing for...
a better future.
A better future.
Yeah, because every bit helps.
Yeah, every action, no matter how small, can make a difference.
I think so.
So that's it for this deep dive, folks.
This deep dive.
Until next time.